This is just a sample of the audiobook. To get the complete audiobook, access the link posted in the first comment.
Patience and luck. An animal, even a tame one, cannot be told what to do like a human actor. Sometimes a creature which has performed a certain action day after day for weeks will, when faced with a camera, develop an acute attack of stage fright and refuse to perform. When you have spent hours in the hot sun getting everything ready, to be treated to this sort of display of temperament makes you feel positively homicidal. A prize example of the difficulties of animal photography was, I think, the day we attempted to photograph the water chevrotain. These delightful little antelopes are about the size of a fox terrier, with a rich chestnut coat, handsomely marked with streaks and spots of white. Small and dainty, the water chevrotain is extremely photogenic. There are several interesting points about the chevrotain, one of which is its adaptation to a semi-aquatic life in the wild state. It spends most of its time wading and swimming in streams in the forest, and can even swim for considerable distances underwater. The second curious thing is that it has a passion for snails and beetles, and such carnivorous habits in an antelope are most unusual. The third notable characteristic is its extraordinary placidity and tameness. I have known a chevrotain, an hour after capture, take food from my hand and allow me to tickle its ears, for all the world as if it had been born in captivity. Our water chevrotain was no exception. She was ridiculously tame, adored having her head and tummy scratched, and would engulf with every sign of satisfaction any quantity of snails and beetles you care to provide. Apart from this, she spent her spare time trying to bathe in her water bowl, into which she could just jam with considerable effort the extreme rear end of her body. So, to display her carnivorous and aquatic habits, I designed a set embracing a section of riverbank. The undergrowth was carefully placed so that it would show off her perfect adaptive coloration to the best advantage. One morning, when the sky was free from cloud and the sun was in the right place, we carried the chevrotain cage out to the set and prepared to release her. "The only thing I'm afraid of," I said to Jackie, "is that I'm not going to get sufficient movement out of her. You know how quiet she is. She'll probably walk into the middle of the set and refuse to move." "Well, if we offer her a snail or something from the other side, I should think she'll walk across," said Jackie. "As long as she doesn't just stand there like a cow in a field, I want to get some movement out of her," I said. I got considerably more movement out of her than I anticipated. The moment the slide of her cage was lifted, she stepped out daintily and paused with one slender hoof raised. I started the camera and awaited her next move. Her next move was somewhat unexpected. She shot across my carefully prepared set like a rocket, went right through the netting wall as if it had not been there, and disappeared into the undergrowth in the middle distance before any of us could make a move to stop her. Our reactions were slow, because this was the last thing we had expected, but as I saw my precious chevrotain disappearing from view, I uttered such a wail of anguish that everyone, including Philip the cook, dropped whatever they were doing and assembled on the scene like magic. "Water beef done run!" I yelled. "I go give 10 shillings to the man who go catch 'em!" The effect of this lavish offer was immediate. A wedge of Africans descended onto the patch of undergrowth into which the antelope had disappeared, like a swarm of hungry locusts. Within 5 minutes, Philip, uttering a roar of triumph like a sergeant major, emerged from the bushes, clutching to his bosom the kicking, struggling antelope. When we replaced her in her cage, she stood quite quietly, gazing at us with limpid eyes as if astonished at all the fuss. She licked my hand in a friendly fashion, and when tickled behind the ears, went off into her usual trance-like state with half-closed eyes. We spent the rest of the day trying to film the wretched creature. She behaved beautifully in her box, splashing in a bowl of water to show how aquatic she was, eating beetles and snails to show how carnivorous she was. But the moment she was released into the film set, she fled towards the horizon, as if she had a brace of leopards on her tail.